Good evening, and welcome to the 53rd commencement exercise for Georgia-Cumberland Academy. We are glad that you are here. Parents, grandparents, aunts and uncles, cousins, relatives, friends, whatever your relationship, to the 69 seniors who are sitting on this platform, we are honored to have you here, grateful that you've come to be with us this evening. And to families, we want to say a special thank you that you made the decision some time ago to entrust your son or your daughter to us here at Georgia-Cumberland Academy. We recognize that was not necessarily an easy decision, but thank you for allowing us the privilege of having your son or your daughter here over these recent years. These seniors have studied, they have grown, they have at times had fun here at GCA, and they have done all of that in the context of the mission of Georgia-Cumberland Academy, which is to know Jesus as Savior and friend, to love God and those He brings into our lives, and to serve the needs of the church and society. They are well prepared to move ahead and for whatever they encounter. Most, almost all, will be going to college. Some will be entering the workforce. I want to say a special thank you to our class officers who are seated on the front row there, and they are listed in your bulletin. Thank you to class officers for your leadership this year and a great school year. They are what makes for the important part of having a successful school year. There's another group I'd like to mention that also have contributed to this being a great year here at GCA, and that is our Student Association officers. And so I will mention their names and ask them to stand, and then I would like you to recognize them with me. Our president for this year has been Elise Mastrapa. Our Senate Chair and Vice President has been Elira Gonzalez. Our Social Vice President has been Abigail Davis. Our Religious Vice President has been Amy Shelley. Our SA Secretary has been Kudzai Mondiwa. And our Treasurer has been Katie Shelley. And in charge of audiovisual has been Brandon D'Souza. You may be seated. Thank you to you for your leadership and helping to make such a great year. We are again glad that you are here for this evening of worship and celebration.
So the scripture is from Proverbs 19:20. Listen to advice and accept discipline, and at the end you will be counted among the wise. Please bow your heads with me as we pray. Thank you for letting us all come here to celebrate this graduation service and our step into another chapter in our lives. Thank you for helping us through this journey, and please continue to be with us as we journey on to college and to work and to whatever else comes in our lives. Lead us to listen to your advice, and thank you for all that you have done for us, are doing in our lives, and will do for us in the future. Please bless us with all that you can, and help us to show you to everyone we meet. In Jesus' name, amen.
The class of 2019 speaker, Mr. Nick Sigler, has taught across the country for the past 17 years. His teaching journey began in Minnesota, then to Washington State, Colorado, Georgia, and now currently he teaches in Nebraska. Prior to becoming a teacher, he graduated from Wisconsin Academy, continued on to get his BA in English and Secondary Education from Andrews University. Then he obtained his master's from Southern Adventist University. Furthermore, he is the father of 3 sons and is the dedicated husband of Miss Heidi Sigler. I suppose it's all of those many years of work that he's had to turn him into the iconic teacher that we know him as today. For example, in sophomore English, he introduced the whole class to these things called the cards of fate. And until that moment, nobody had ever required me to put my name and all of my favorite things on a note card that would decide my fate. It's a cool way to get to know a class, but when the whole class is relying on you to answer a question right in a 3-strikes quiz, that's a lot of stress in a very small amount of time. These cards never choose the people who have studied somehow. Fate decides the people who haven't. I don't know what it is. Well, I guess it's fate. But that's not what his class was about. His class was not about who could cram the most or who could stress the best. It was me. He taught us that in English, our names mean hope. And though we be but little, we are fierce. He introduced us to the transcendental woods so that we can learn to live deliberately. We learn to beat on boats against the current, to front only the essential facts of life. Personally speaking, Mr. Sigler has been more than a teacher, but he's also been a friend. And I know that I would not be the person I am today without his wisdom and guidance. So without further ado, Mr. Nick Sigler.
I don't know about you guys, but you need a cheering section. It makes you feel real good. Like, to have a cheering section, it's fantastic. And especially such good-looking cheering section as these kids right here. Ah, so good. You guys are kind, generous, and good-looking, I promise. I want to thank you so much. I want to thank you families. I want to thank you staff, faculty, and of course, the class of 2019 for having me here today. I count it as one of the greatest honors to be able to send you off essentially into the world with the last few words before your time here is done. I do want to pause and really thank Dr. Gerard for remembering that I am still alive, because when people leave school here, they're dead to him. So I'm alive, so thank you, I appreciate that. Don't worry, Mr. Leeper, your obituary has been written already. It is true, it is true. However, when Dr. Gerard called me and he asked if I would acknowledge that I was alive, first of all, I said, hey, you're still alive in Nebraska. I said, yes, I am, thank you. He asked if I would speak at your graduation. I was like, yeah, it's such an honor, absolutely an honor. And he said, well, I want to read you their aim and motto. And I remember very clearly, I was getting gas, and I was like talking on the phone, probably dangerous while I'm getting gas, but that's okay. And he said, prepare yourself. I said, okay. And I have it here to make sure I don't get it wrong. He said, the aim is making great leaders. And the motto is, by setting good examples. Now, I actually paused as I was getting gas, and I can't say it was because I was odd. I was waiting for the rest of it. Because class of 2019, what you have right there are 2 fragments of a sentence. Those are fragments. I was looking for my Sharpie. I was ready to edit and to tell you your sentence fluency was in the garbage. No. And I actually thought, what have I done with my life? I have failed. And so it was obvious that I had to have, my job wasn't done with you. It absolutely wasn't done. I had to get one last class period, one last time to talk to you. It won't be about grammar or rewriting, I promise. But I had to have one last opportunity to tell you, and so look at this as kind of a class. Now, for the last few years, you've taken tests, you created projects, some not so well, such as Mr. Burgess's body biography for the Scarlet Letter that left a whole class in shock and awe. It's true. It's so true. And you've completed labs, you've written papers, you've been assessed in a variety of ways. Because that's our job as teachers, is to assess you. And in the moment, oh man, they felt like a big deal, didn't they? They felt like such a big deal. I had people, Mr. Sigler, I was up so late. Baby, you should have started earlier when I told you to. I think I've had that conversation 69 times around here. But everything that you learned, all those assessments, I'm here to tell you a little bit. We teachers, we're sneaky folk. We're a sneaky folk. I'm going to tell you, it's all been practice. Because in the moment, it felt like such a big deal. But I'm going to tell you, that test that you didn't do so hot on, that quiz that you got that third strike on and everybody had to take that quiz, Mr. D'Souza. It was all practice. It was just in preparation for the test. You see, when you walk down the aisle, right there, when you walk down the aisle with your diploma, these right here, woo, they even have your name on it. It's fancy. When you walk down that aisle, that's when the test actually begins. And all that these people have been here supporting you to do has been to prepare you for that moment and every moment for the rest of your life. They've been here. So when you put so much energy and effort and you procrastinated, I'm telling you, it was practice. And so what I look at tonight is my one last review. It's my one last review before your final test that will last until your grave. Because that's what all this has been for. Now, when I talk to my speech, I teach speech this year. It's wonderful. I love it. It's a great class to teach. But I always tell my students, it's important to find your angle to make sense to you. Do something that you love, that you feel like you're good at, and that will make your speech just be fantastic. And so what I have to do then is, what do I do well? I talk about literature. I talk about writing. And so that's what I'm going to do tonight with you one more time, just once more. I'm getting a little broken up about that too. Oh my word. I love it. And so look at tonight as one last opportunity for that big test. And the wonderful thing about literature, the wonderful thing about writing that I love so much is, well, it teaches you some great skills that you're going to need when you go to college or you go to workplace. You're going to have to learn to critically think. If you can pick out a symbol, that's critical thinking. If you can think abstractly, that is so important. It puts you leaps and bounds ahead of people that you're going to be working beside or going to school beside. If you can do that, that's fantastic. And that's why we read it and grow. But the part of literature that I just love is a life application lesson that you don't get anywhere else, like algebra. Sorry, Mr. Herr, I apologize. Don't get it there. But the lessons that you learn don't only teach you when we read, we continue to read and grow, whether it's fiction or nonfiction or whatever it is. It teaches us skills, but when we step back and look at what does it have to teach us, then we learn how to live our lives a little bit better, either by good examples or bad examples. And so what I'm going to do for you tonight is I have to, like I tell my speech students, I have to do something that makes sense to me. I have to structure this event here that we're here for in a way that makes sense to me, because I want to give you guys the best send-off that you can. So I'm going to structure it. I'm going to remind some of you some of the things that you learned, and the bonus is maybe some of you can hear about it for the first time because you didn't read it when I assigned it before. So congratulations, you get a little bit of a test here. All right. So we're going to start off with one of my all-time favorites that I did not. I know Miss Muriel teaches it, and it's so sad that I didn't teach it, but it's To Kill a Mockingbird. To Kill a Mockingbird, we know, is about a lawyer in the South trying to give a fair trial to a man of color in the Great Depression South. And the lesson here that's so important for us to learn, for us to see, is the idea of courage. Is that Atticus Finch within the book says, I wanted you to see what real courage was. When he's talking to his daughter, he understands the value and importance of teaching courage, because that's something that you have to have every day of your life. For some of you, it took courage to come here at GCA and leave your family. And even some of you, it took courage to get out of the bed in the morning because life just felt so heavy. That takes courage. But Atticus Finch puts it, it's so brilliant. He says, I wanted you to see what real courage is. Instead of getting the idea that courage is a man with a gun in his hand. It's when you know you're licked before you begin, but you begin anyway and you see it through, no matter what. You rarely win, but sometimes you do. See, the courage that it took for you to be here is just a little bit of the courage that you're going to have to exhibit, especially at this part in your life and as you continue on. Your family, your teachers, your grandparents, your parents, they can attest that at times in their life, courage has been in short supply, but they've had to do it. And courage means stepping across to move to a school that is so far from your family, or to another country, or to tell your parents, I don't really want to go into medicine. I'm so sorry. But knowing that you have to follow what you love, class of 2019, that takes courage. Courage is starting, and that first step every day, one right after the other. That is courage. And I hope that you remember that from To Kill a Mockingbird, is courage. We're going to move on. We're going to come back. We're going to review. I have some things to give you. No, I really don't, but good. This one is a little abstract. If you guys don't remember this, your sophomore year, you read Cry the Beloved Country. Go ahead, groan, collective groan. It's so good. It's about social injustice in South Africa when we're doing world literature, right? And it was such a beautiful book about two fathers that are trying to find out who their sons are. One is a native African father. One is an Afrikaans of European descent. But I paired with this a short story. It's a nonfiction piece called A South African Storm. And this one was so valuable and so important for you guys to understand. The idea, the lesson that you're going to get here is the idea for standing up for justice in small ways. You see, if you remember, we read these ones by Peace Corps workers that were in different countries, and she was a white American that went to South Africa in post-apartheid South Africa, right? Do you guys remember that? Little clicks? Yeah. I know it's small. It's okay. And she feels proud because she's walking to town with the native Africans. And they think it's strange that she does because all of the white Afrikaners, they don't walk, they drive. But she says, and she's talking to them, she gets her simple things, and she's walking home and it begins to rain. And an Afrikaner man drives up in his car and he says, get in. And all of a sudden she realizes what white privilege looks like. And she does it, what seems like the most logical thing to do. She jumps in the car because you just get out of the rain. Right? She's just getting out of the rain. But as she's realizing, she gets dropped off, all of a sudden she realizes by jumping in the car and leaving all of these other people that were walking in the rain, she has not done her small duty to combat the small injustices, to combat the large injustices in small ways in South Africa. And there's the last paragraph that she writes that's so important. So much about living here feels like the fraction of a second when the Afrikaner man was appealing, and this is important here, to my conventional sensibilities. And the people on the street were appealing to my human instincts. It may feel unnatural to reject those sensibilities just as, at first, it feels unnatural to walk in the rain. But if I lose a hold of my instincts here, I'll fail myself and fail to achieve those tiny things that matter so much. It's simple, and it's small, and it's everything. Gandhi says, I'm still quoting her, Gandhi says, be the change you wish to see in the world. And she writes, indeed, let it rain. So what does it look like to combat injustice? The Bible tells us that we have to stand up for the widowed, for the poor, the children. And that's part of our Christian dictate that we should do. But what does that look like? The world needs people that are willing to walk in the rain, that are willing to go against what she said is conventional sensibilities, that have said we have to treat these people a certain way just because that's how it's always been done. Witnessing and loving all of God's people does not mean we have to hand out pamphlets on the benefits of vegetarian diets, okay? That's not what that means. It means loving without pretense. Even people we don't understand, and loving them madly. The thing is just like the person in the story, she made a small thing. She decided, I'm gonna walk in the rain next time. But when you have 1,000 people doing 1,000 small things, class of 2019, you can change the world. You so can. So don't forget, your first thing, what's the first thing that you have to do to kill a mockingbird? What do you have to have? Courage. Second thing that you have to do is stand up for justice, even if it's in small ways. Okay? Let's talk about our last one. You know I couldn't get through here without my friend Great Gatsby. Yes, I know. The lesson I want you guys to understand about is to surround yourself with people that lift you up, that want the same things as you, and that have your best interest in mind. Look at the people around you. I know, it's weird. Take a look at them. Take a look at them. I hope you can find those people here. But I'm also going to be honest with you because you know I'm always honest, right? Some of these people that you looked at are not the people that want the same thing as you do. And it's not bad and it's not terrible to kindly say, our paths are going in a different way. I will love you and I will pray for you, but you don't know what's best for me, and what we have is not what's best for each other. In The Great Gatsby, Gatsby tries to surround himself. It's the 1920s epitomal story, novel that everybody loves, but he surrounds himself with people, and they consistently, he's trying to fit into their ideas of what does a wealthy man look like? What does a wealthy man do? Because he sees what they do. He was trying to recreate for himself this image of a girl that represented all that he wanted. And a lot of it had to do with money. We all know that it ends terribly. If you didn't, read it. But we know that in the end, Nick, the narrator, says, "They're a rotten crowd," I shouted across the lawn. "You're worth the whole bunch put together." When you find those people that lift you up, when you find those people that care about you, those are the ones you want to walk through life with. Because Benjamin Franklin said, from our aphorisms, we all know this, Ben Franklin said, "Be civil to all, social to many, familiar with few, friend to one, enemy to none." Our first thing, to kill a mockingbird, what do you need to have? Courage. Second thing, what do you need to do? Stand up for justice. And third, choose people that want what's best for you. Now, class of 2019, our review has been lovely. I've enjoyed our time together, tonight on the stage, and our times in the classroom. And I'm not so arrogant or so ignorant to think that you are all taking notes and you're going to look at this every day. I know. I had a graduation speaker, I don't even remember his name. He talked about, you know, you have a bad day when you put your pants on backwards. That's all I remember. That's all I remember. I really don't know what he was trying to tell me. And it really didn't affect my life because I know that's a bad day. I don't know. But there's something that I want you to get. And this is something that I do remember from my graduation 1 or 2 years ago. I was a senior class president. Well done, yeah. I was a senior class president. I had planned the whole weekend I was leaving to go work at summer camp the next day, and we were at Sabbath school on Sabbath morning. And I was sitting there, and I was thinking about, okay, now I have to make sure we got food here, and da-da-da-da-da. And we had to sit up front. We had to sit up front during Sabbath school. And one of my friend's fathers, his name was Greg, he came up, and he was giving us our Sabbath school address. We'd asked him to do it, and I really wasn't paying attention to him. And as I was sitting there, not thinking about what is Greg telling me, thinking about how do I need to make this weekend work, I need to pack for camp tomorrow, I'm leaving for the airport, all of these things. All of a sudden it got real quiet. Like that super awkward, weird quiet where you're like, is everyone looking at me? And it wasn't. And I'll tell you what he said in just a second, but I want to describe to you what it is what happened. Greg kind of sat down on a stool that was there. He got super pale and sweaty. And he told us what he wanted to tell us. And I'll get back to that in a second. At lunch, we were doing a class potluck together, and I talked to his wife, Lisa, who was one of our class sponsors, and I was like, oh, did Greg get sick during Sabbath school? And she said, no. She said he's home resting right now because he feels like God told him a very important message for you. That God had touched him at that moment. And I have to be honest, I'm a cynic. Like, I'm a cynic about these types of things. But in that moment, and what I saw and what he did has stuck with me for the last few years, well, last 20-some years. And it's something that I've always promised that if I get the opportunity to a graduating class, that I share with you. And as I said, Greg, he was talking about whatever, and all of a sudden he just trailed off. He sat down on his chair, and he felt the Spirit of God come on, and he got kind of pale and sweaty, gray. And he said, class of 1996, that was me. He said, I want you to know this. God knows your name. And there's a table up in heaven where there's a crazy banquet waiting for you. And I will notice if you're not there. And that was it. And it just sat there. And so the class of 2019, I tell you, God knows your name. He loves you. And I'll save you a seat. Congratulations.
All right, well, guys, we made it. Well, thank you, Mr. Sigler, for coming all the way down here to Calhoun, Georgia, once again. And we will take your challenge and be very courageous. And we will go out and stand up for justice, and we will surround ourselves with people who will uplift us and want the best for us. And thank you. Well, I want to say thank you again to Mr. Sigler one more time because his class changed me into the student that I am today. Coming in sophomore year, I know a lot of us were extremely nervous for the realm of Sigler. But he had high standards, and he pushed all of us to them. He knew that we could make it, but we needed a nudge. And I just want to thank that. And he didn't not in just that class did we all excel, but in every other class because of him, we were pushed. I know my papers all of a sudden where everything was in MLA format. My name, your name. There we go. And what's in the top right? Last name. Yeah, there we go. We got it. And Times New Roman, 12 double space. We all got it. We got it. I just want to thank him for pushing us and all the other wonderful faculty and staff here at GCA. Because of you guys, we are ready to go into college. One thing I love about GCA is, well, all of you guys and all of you guys that support this school, but most importantly that we can come from different areas, different backgrounds, different cultures, and become one huge family. This is not just a normal day school, this is from people from all around the country and even around the world that come together because we love Adventist education, we love GCA. There are some challenges though about having GCA in the Deep South. And one of those is the thick Southern accents. I know that I was not used to that coming here. And one of the teachers in particular, Miss Carr, had a wonderful thick Southern accent. But it is something that we kind of get used to now. I don't really notice it anymore because it's just kind of who she is. But there's something that Miss Carr needs to work on, and it's her aim in class. She has a spray bottle to spray off the whiteboard, and every time she sprays the whiteboard, it always misses somehow from the whiteboard, always turns and hits the most loudest person in class. I don't know. I don't understand how she always does that. So many years, I don't know. It's all right. But over these past 4 years, our class has grown a lot, spiritually, academically, and in size. I just want to share some memories. I know our freshman year, the very first week on this campus, I realized that our class was special and just perfect for me. The first thing I remember about GCA is almost anything goes, and we did not come in last place, right? I mean, yeah. Third maybe, but that's all right. I remember Kevin Burgess running around and hyping up the entire class on our chant. The whole class was in a circle, and we had some key words that we had to talk about. But I remember we were all jumping down and going, I believe that we can eat. I believe that we can eat. And Kevin Burgess all around us, hyping us, jumping up, jumping around, and just, I don't know, that's something I remember. Essay picnic was amazing. I remember the first time I had an essay picnic in my life, and there was a mud pit that we all had to jump through, and there was a snake, and there was rubber snakes in there that we had to get. There's wet oatmeal that we had to pass around and pour flour on ourselves. Somehow I had to pour flour on myself. I don't know how that happened, but it's all right. Then, let's see, Nagati. I remember we had a mile run in PE, and somehow Nagati maybe didn't eat breakfast or something, and she passed out. So, but our hero, Coach Fox, carried her back to the gym. I remember hanging out in the gazebo and enjoying amazing moments with all of you 4-year seniors, and just having an amazing time freshman year with our kind of stress-free life. But the most important thing I took about from freshman year was that we were a tight, connected class, and we still are. And we love each other and we care for each other. Freshman year set the foundation for building on for the other years. Sophomore year came around, and our class grew a lot sophomore year. If you came sophomore year, can you please raise your hand? That's a lot of people for 1 year coming in. I think there's about 20 or so new people. Our class grew a lot in volume, especially. I remember Almost Anything Goes the very first weekend of sophomore year, and we were all at Almost Anything Goes, and we all came up to our chant. And those were kind of always chaotic moments because we didn't know what was happening, and we were kind of all freaking out and giving ideas. And then one person in our class knew, kind of very tall, thick Honduran accent, and he was yelling at us, one talk, over and over and over again, and none of us knew what one talk meant. But we all stopped talking because we were kind of scared. But Evan has grown to be an amazing leader in our class, and I don't know what we'd do without him. Sophomore year was kind of unique because we were no longer freshmen on this campus, but we also weren't upperclassmen. We were kind of overlooked, but one teacher in particular did not overlook us. In fact, he was looking for us. We had the year of the essays, 4 essays, every history test, which I feel like there was like 18 million history tests. I don't know that year, but we had to write 5 paragraphs for each of them, and just that was a very difficult year of transitioning, but it was something that shaped us to what we are today. Our class became, like I said, extremely loud, extremely hype, and I don't know about you, but we're kind of a B-19 deal. Yeah, that's right. For those who don't get that, we had a class shirt that year and it said B19 big. Okay, it's all right. Our class, we kind of weren't good that year though in competitions. Everything we did, Almost Anything Goes, I think we lost. So we kind of went 3rd to 4th. That's all right. Our GPAs, because of Sigler, got destroyed. You name it, and we were just bad at it. But we hyped each other up through all of it, and that helped us no matter what we were losing. It was all right. We were still happy. We were still cheering 2019. It's all right. And then that grew us into our junior year. Our junior year, the most thing that we all kind of take from junior year is our junior trip led by Mr. Bogus. And I never knew a time could be so funny. Actually, 2 times. I'm not talking about a time like, oh, we had a great time. I'm talking like, oh, it's 1:30. So those particular times are 2:10 and 10:12 that kind of made that trip absolutely amazing. At 2:10, exactly at 2:10, Mr. Bogus purposely tripped on Katie Williams' crutches right in front of our whole class at Monticello, and it was kind of the funniest thing in the world. And I just saw my teacher walking and boom, face planted in front of everyone. And we were supposed to be quiet. I mean, come on. And then at 10:12 Saturday night, in front of the FDR Memorial, Gabby Mendonca wanted to show off her speed. If you guys know Gabby, she's very athletic. She loves to run, play sports. She just loves all of those things. It just brings her joy. And so at 10:12, exactly, because we look at times now whenever anyone falls. So if you fall, I got your time. Gabby wanted to show off her speed, like I said. So she said New England speed and ran, because our whole class was running and we were leaving. And she said New England speed and face planted in front of our whole class. And there we go, great moments. Let's see, we went to Mystic Seaport and we had the guy up there who played the banjo. We had, it was awesome. It was so much fun, so energetic for us. We had, I remember David, Daniel, Mikael, Kevin, all these guys up there jumping around, dancing with the banjo guy. That was really fun. But the most thing that I remember from junior trip is singing and having worship right outside the Jefferson Memorial, overlooking the tidal basin with the Washington Memorial right in front of us. That night was very special for all of us. We started singing Holy Spirit, and I remember people started like recording us because they thought that we were like a famous touring group, so thank you. But they started recording us, and we had a worship, and that night is kind of unforgettable. Our class we got extremely close, and we shared moments that made junior trip just fun and exciting, and we shared moments with each other about who made the trip impactful for us. That was just, it kind of like prepared us for senior year. Junior trip was amazing. It's from the countrysides of Virginia to the bustling city of New York, to the calming oceans of Rhode Island, to the busy city of Boston. There is no other group of people that I would have wanted to go on that trip than you guys. Junior trip turned our class into a single unit, strong and ready to face our senior year. Senior year started off like any other year. I didn't feel that. I know most of our class didn't feel like we were the seniors on this campus. But I think we kind of looked around and we started feeling like we're the oldest ones here. I mean, except for Gerard, but it's, you know, there's no telling on that one. But our class went later on in that week, and we went to our senior retreat. And the senior retreat was a good thing, and I'm so glad it happened, but it was filled with difficulties and heat and bee stings. And I'm not going to share specifics because I want other classes to understand what we went through. But if there's one word to use to describe senior retreat, it would be restart. Every time I heard that word, and I feel like I heard it so many times that weekend, I just wanted to explode, but it's all right. And it taught our class patience, and it just how to communicate efficiently with each other. And now, as some of you guys look up on these faces on all these graduates, you'll see there may be red or a little tanner before. We just got back from our trip from the Keys, the Florida Keys, and there are memories that I won't forget on that trip. But one of the most unforgettable memories is on Sabbath in our hotel room, we were all singing Lord, I Need You. And I know it was led out by some people, and there was no music, it was all a cappella, and it was just absolutely amazing. Every voice that I could see and that I could tell was lifted to God and saying, Lord, I need you. And it was one of those moments where I could just close my eyes and we just like have that play over and over and over again in my head. And I know we all felt that same thing. The Holy Spirit was there in that room. In that room, 2 people decided to be baptized right then, and then we also saw 4 other people got baptized today. And that was beautiful, and that was an amazing moment. And I just want to, let's see, okay. So that's something that I will love about this class. Everything we do in unity. We love each other in unity. And we are always there to support each other, uplift each other, and most importantly, just be there for each other. And you guys have become like one ginormous family to me, and I know to everyone up on this stage. And as we're about to leave GCA, there's one thing that I want to say is that never lose our sight with God. Because right now, if there's a time for the devil to tempt us, it's right now. We're leaving high school, we're leaving structure, we're leaving people telling us go to church. We don't have any of that anymore. And so what I'm saying is keep God first in our lives, because we're entering a time where there's nothing for us but our own decisions and our own willpower. And that only comes from God, and strength comes from God, and keep him first always, and God will take over. Guys, I love you, and I've been blessed by every single one of you. It's been an honor serving as your president, and I want to leave you with this: one for all and all for one. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sigler, and thank you, President Zach, for your comments this evening and for your inspiration. We are grateful for all that both of you have done for GCA. I also want to say thank you this evening to our senior class sponsors. Mr. and Mrs. Carr were sponsors, and Mr. Leeper. Thank you very much for helping this class throughout this year and over the last 4 years. If these students are well prepared, and I believe they are, then they in part owe that to the faculty and staff who are seated here on the front row. And so I would also like to extend my thank you to our faculty and staff here at GCA. I believe they are the best that you can find anywhere. Three of them are leaving us at the end of this year, and we are sad for that, but we understand that sometimes God calls us to other things, and sometimes there are turns in life's road and chapters we didn't anticipate, and maybe we didn't even want them. But I would like to take an opportunity for all of us to once again say thank you to the three who have served us so well over so many years. Deborah Theus has been our school treasurer and has done an outstanding job. Melanie DiBiase has been teaching in the life sciences over the last 12 years, and we will miss her very much. And as you heard, Mr. Caleb Leeper is leaving us to go to Shenandoah Valley Academy, where Caleb will be moving into administration. And I feel that that will be just payment for him leaving here. And I should mention that Melanie is leaving us to pursue doctoral studies full-time, and she will be preparing to prepare teachers in the future in higher education. And so we look forward to someday having student teachers that have learned under Mrs. DiBiase. We will miss Deborah especially. She's staying in the area, but her departure from GCA is due to medical reasons, and we will continue to pray for Deborah. I would like to ask these three to stand. Not sure that Deborah made it this evening, but Melanie, would you please stand, and Caleb, would you please stand? Is Deborah here? Thank you. We have a class of 69 seniors who are graduating this evening. Several of these, how many of you are second generation? Yeah, they're wearing cords. That means that a parent attended GCA before. And we have one. Noel, where are you? Noel, how many in yours? You are the third generation. Noel is a third generation GCA person. As you look at these 69 seniors, 37 are graduating with high honors, 3.5 and above. 37 out of 69. The grading is just too easy, isn't it? In addition to that, 18 are graduating with honors, a 3.0 to 3.49. So 18 are graduating with honors. 32 of these students are four-year seniors, including one of the 32 is Mr. Jacob Brown. Now, I'm going to ask Mr. Jacob Brown to stand. Where are you, Jacob? There he is. That's what a four-year senior looks like, ladies and gentlemen. I did that because we somehow forgot to put the little sign next to his name. That's a four-year senior. I know he's been here for 4 years. I said that this was a well-prepared class, and a couple of these students have gone above and beyond, really. When we have so many with high GPAs and almost all of them going on to college, it is testimony to the fact that you parents brought outstanding students to us, and we didn't do too much to mess them up. But this faculty and staff have also helped them to reach the best potential they can. And so just as a couple of examples, every year when students take the PSAT test, that PSAT test is taken by 1.5 million people in the United States. The very top little threshold of all of those students taking that test, that top 3% are the pool of students who are in the pool that is called the National Merit Scholarship. And we have a student who is a National Merit commended student here, and her name, and I'd like her to stand, is Alara Gonzalez. We also had a student here who took the ACT this year, and he got a score of 36. That's as high as it goes. When I was in high school, I thought it only went to 26. That wasn't that funny. But we have a senior who actually got a 36, and that's Jack Smith. Jack, stand up. So this is an outstanding class, and we will miss them very, very much. The scholarships to Adventist colleges and universities, of the ones that have been declared, total over $1.3 million. 47 of these students, by their declaration, are planning to go to an Adventist college or university. Now, we have a number of people here this evening who are going to make presentations, and we're going to move through those, and then we will take a few minutes to recognize those who have declared a college on the back of your program and the scholarships that are being awarded. But first, I'd like to invite these individuals up. I'll call them up one at a time to deliver a brief message from their organization. Representing Southern Adventist University is Jessica Williams.
Good evening. On behalf of Southern Adventist University, I want to thank Georgia-Cumberland Academy, Dr. Greg Gerard, and the graduating class of 2019 for the opportunity to participate in this graduation service. Southern Adventist University is the largest undergraduate Seventh-day Adventist university with over 2,700 undergraduate students. Even though Southern is the largest, we are proud that we are still a small school, where students are not just a number, but truly are the foundation upon which Southern is built. Southern congratulates the seniors and their families for this wonderful milestone. We wish you every blessing as you continue a life of service to God, your church, and community. To qualify for a scholarship, a student must have applied and been academically accepted. There may be some seniors here who would qualify for scholarships but have not yet completed the application process. To you, I say, it's not too late. You are still eligible to apply for these scholarships, and we would love to have you join our campus in the fall. The scholarships that have been awarded are based on the student's cumulative high school GPA, their ACT or SAT test score, as well as leadership experience and other criteria. These merit-based awards do not take into account over $30 million in additional financial assistance that will be given to our student body through other sources, such as music, gymnastics, drama, student missions, and our academic departments. Also, the millions of dollars given in need-based awards. Tonight, I have the privilege of telling you that Southern has awarded over $1.4 million to GCA's 2019 graduating class. Seniors, before I step away from the podium, I just want to leave you with a promise from Jeremiah 29:11. It says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a future and a hope." Congratulations, graduates, and may God continue to bless you as you seek the Holy Spirit to lead you in a life of service.
Now representing Oakwood University is Mr. Vern Gohana. Vern, come on up.
Good evening. Thank you, Dr. Girard and administration, for allowing us to share this opportunity. My name is Vern Gohana. I'm a professor of accounting at Oakwood University, and it's my privilege to come here and to share in this experience. Congratulations, class of 2019. You're beautiful, you're brilliant, you're going to do wonderful things, and you are richly blessed. I can see that throughout all these people who have come here to share this evening with you. And this is a beautiful campus of like I have not seen at some of the other academies, so you truly are blessed. Are there any graduates of Oakwood University in the room this evening? I would invite you to stand, please. Amen. There's some back there, over here. Students, these are the product of Oakwood University. They're doctors, lawyers, architects, former military persons like myself, accountants. Accountants is one of the best fields you can go into. You're going to choose business as well. But Dr. Pollard and our administration congratulate you on your achievement. We're proud to offer over $100,000 in scholarships to this class, and we are actively looking for more students to come to Oakwood. So if you have any questions about it, I will be here afterwards, or please look us up online at www.oakwood.edu. And again, congratulations on your milestone.
Now representing the United States Air Force Academy is retired Lieutenant Colonel Johnny DeLoach.
Good evening, everyone. Great to be here and see a great bunch. Congratulations, class of 19. I wish you health, happiness, and success. But I'm here to recognize one individual here that has done a great job. This year, over 15,000 people applied for admission into the Air Force Academy, and I just heard that less than 1,200 were accepted. So we're happy to make a special award to Dane Rhodes, who got one of those appointments. Dane, Dane. We'll do that. Okay. The Air Force Academy is recognized as one of the best academic institutions in the country. U.S. News this year rated it #3 public school in the country. It's got the best aeronautical and astronautical programs going. The value of his education is around $500,000, so you folks keep your tax money current, okay? Very quickly, the Academy is located, for those of you who have not been out there, just to the north of Colorado Springs at the eastern foot of the Rocky Mountains and an elevation of 7,250 feet, which makes it the highest university in the country. And Dane is going to do well as soon as he learns to breathe without the assistance of oxygen, which is going to take a while. So on behalf of the president, the superintendent, and the citizens that he's going to serve so well, I'm proud to appoint as cadet, United States Air Force Academy, class of 2023, Dane Austin Rhodes. I salute you. Sit back.
Dane has already started the physical training part of that. I've seen him on campus, and he runs everywhere. It just runs. He's still late, but he runs. Representing our local Gordon County Chamber of Commerce is Mr. Charles Young.
Good evening. I represent the Education and Workforce Committee of the Gordon County Chamber of Commerce. We want to have our community come together, both the education and the community. And sometimes that doesn't happen, but we have encouraged the parties to get together. And one of the things that we do is to honor someone in the class that applies, first of all, and is accepted and appointed to receive the scholarship. And this year, our person is Gift Nakwu.
Representing the Gordon County Historical Society is Mr. Lynn Elkins.
Thank you, Dr. Gerard, and my congratulations to all of you. Great group. The study of history has always been a fascination for me. It's always fascinated me. And I could stand up here this evening, but Dr. Gerard won't let me do this. I could stand up here and give you 50 or 60 reasons why you should study that subject at length and in depth. So I'll just mention a couple. Number one, and this is very important, it allows one to make sense of the world in which we live today. And it helps us to understand the society in which we live. It allows us to look at what causes change. And perhaps most importantly, history teaches us warning signs, and it teaches us that critical character quality that Mr. Sigler spoke about just a few minutes ago, and that is courage. On behalf of the Gordon County Historical Society, it is my privilege to award this year's History Award to Kristen Burgess.
A new scholarship fund that has been established here at GCA is the Meadows Surgical Arts Scholarship. And representing that medical practice is Dr. Lionel Meadows, dad of GCA students.
Good evening. Class of 2019, congratulations. In 2009, Catherine and I started a non-for-profit called the Surgical Hope Foundation with two things in mind. One, free surgery for those that truly had a need, and second, to be able to offer scholarships to those that are going into a healthcare field. Someone's got to take care of all these face plants. Someone's got to take care of Mr. Sigler after some student just scares him to death. So that's the purpose. We give scholarships. This is now 5 different institutions we're giving scholarships to this year. We started with just 1 scholarship in 2009, and now it's going to be 8 scholarships this year. We looked at the applications from GCA. All of the scholarships are based on GPA and an essay. It's grown to the point now that I've got a committee. It can't just be me anymore. So the committee chair came to me and said, look, I've got 3 applicants. Their GPAs are within hundredths of each other, and the essays are all amazing. Well, they know me well enough to where I expect them to pick one student, 1 institution. So I said, okay, fine, I'll take charge of this. So I looked at the essays and I looked at the GPAs, and they were right. They were ridiculously close, all going into different areas of healthcare. So I went to Catherine, my wife. I knew she would tell me what to do. And after looking at the essays, she told me 2 things. 1, I couldn't have them arm wrestle over it, so Sarah, I'm sorry. Next, she told me that she too couldn't come away with a decision. So first for our foundation is we have 3 scholarship winners tonight. Those are Gift Nakwu, Sarah Fisher, and Calvin Scott.
Couple of other awards. The Jeffrey Evans Memorial Scholarship Fund was established a number of years ago at the untimely tragic death of Dr. Jeffrey Evans, a local physician. His family put together this scholarship fund, and it is awarded to a student who will be going to Southern Adventist University. And these students are usually coming in who are going to be considering a career in the sciences and or have had involvement in music. Now, those two combinations here at GCA are a lot of these seniors, and so this was a very difficult decision. But we did make a decision. I don't have anything to hand to you, the person who's going to receive this, so you can simply stand when I mention the name, but this individual will receive the Jeffrey Evans Scholarship at Southern for this next year, and the individual that we have named is Corey Wilkins. There's also one more award that we give every year, and it is called the Caring Heart Award. It's sponsored in part by the North American Division and the Southern Union Conference of Seventh-day Adventists. The recipient of this award gets a plaque, which is nice, and they get a beautiful engraved Bible, and they get a $500 scholarship. And the Caring Heart Award is to go to an individual who has demonstrated spiritual leadership on campus and an interest in reaching out and helping people off campus in outreach programs and has been an example of spiritual maturity. This also was a very difficult decision because many of these seniors would certainly qualify. But after considerable deliberation from religion faculty, chaplains' offices, and administration, we decided to give this year's Caring Heart Award to Mr. Calvin Scott. Now, representing our Board of Trustees is Mr. Kevin Kosick, Vice President for Education of the Georgia-Cumberland Conference.
Thank you, Dr. Gerard. Will the faculty and staff please stand? I wish you could have sat in my seat as the processional came down the aisle. The faculty were applauding, high-fiving, encouraging the graduates. So, these diplomas have value because of teachers who have demonstrated over time a commitment to academic rigor and a personal investment in each student. As Vice President of Education, personally, and as a group, I applaud you and thank you for your work. And on behalf of Dr. Ed Wright, Chairman of the Board of Trustees of Georgia-Cumberland Academy, and on behalf of the Georgia-Cumberland Conference Board of Education, I am honored to authorize the distribution of these diplomas to these graduates, the class of 2019.
Now, before we do that, I'd like to do one more thing, and that is if you look at the back page of your graduation weekend brochure, your bulletin, you'll there notice the scholarships and awards. And I'd like to just take a minute to run through this list. I know you can read, most of you, but I'd like to give these students just a moment to stand and be recognized for their accomplishments because these dollar figures are related to their GPA here at GCA and their achievement test score, an ACT or an SAT score. And so these are important and also gives you an idea of where some of our students are going. So going to Andrews University, Lily Burke, $56,000. Lily, please stand. And Ashley Wilson, $56,000. All of these scholarships, by the way, are over a 4-year period. That is not in the first year. If you were thinking, well, they're going to go home with money. No, they're not. The universities know how to keep that from happening. These are over 4 years. Going to Oakwood University. Mikael St. Val, Tony Sargent, Vanessa Thurman. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't give the dollar figures. Mikael, $24,000, Tony, $24,000, Vanessa, $40,000, and Katie Williams, $24,000. Now, to save some time, I'd suggest you let me read through all of Southern's. We usually every year have about half of our class that will go to Southern Adventist University. It's close to that again this year. So these are the students who thus far say that they are planning to go to Southern and their scholarship amounts. I should note, by the way, that a number of these students have multiple offers from multiple colleges or universities. We just limited it to one. Adam Anderson, $28,000. Jeff Begley, that's Nathan, $16,000. Are you standing? Good. Jacob, $24,000. Kristen, $18,000. Daniel Burke, $28,000. Abby Davis, $28,000. Sergio, $34,000. Brandon, $28,000. Taylor Einhelig, $36,000. Isabella, $8,000. Raphael, $12,000. Kobe, $8,000. Sarah, $16,000. Jared, $24,000. Nick, $30,000. Carlos, $28,000. Evan Hyde, $8,000. Natalie, $28,000. Zach, $38,000. Sydney Lopez, $28,000. Noel Lucas, $30,000. Elise, $38,000. Gabby, $16,000. William Mitchell, $16,000. Heather, $28,000. Martin Phillips, $8,000. Ashley, $10,000. Calvin Scott, $38,000. Amy, $34,000. Katie, $24,000. Jocelyn, $20,000. Hold it. We missed two. They didn't get in our program, and we're not sure why. Mrs. Hartwell and I decided that somehow it's Southern's fault, even if it isn't. Sorry about that, Jessica. But I should mention Disney Smith. Disney, stand up. Disney is planning to go to Southern, and he's got a $20,000 award, and Jack Smith, $36,000 award. So please stand. They're there. Jocelyn Walton. Jocelyn, $20,000. Corey Wilkins, $16,000. And Isabella Woods, $28,000. There they are, the ones that are going to Southern. May be seated. Going to Union College in Lincoln, Nebraska, home of Mr. Nick Sigler, and almost nothing else. Olivia Carlson is going to greatly expand everything there, and she's going to receive $44,000. And going to Walla Walla University, we have the following. Kevin Burgess will receive $48,500. Andrew Burnham, $40,000. Alea Clark, $52,500. Kudzai is getting $9,500. And Dylan Waters, $57,200. Thank you. You may be seated. Mrs. Hartwell, I believe we are ready to award diplomas.
Zachary Wesley Kierstein, graduating with high honors. Calvin Fitzgerald Scott II, graduating with high honors. Gabrielle Tavares Mendonca, graduating with high honors. Daniel James Burke, graduating with high honors. Rose Noel Lucas, graduating with high honors. Ashley Summer Rojas Barber, graduating with high honors. Adam John Anderson, graduating with high honors. Terrell A. Basden. Jeffrey Nathan Begley, graduating with high honors. Jacob Milan Brown, graduating with high honors. Kevin Edward Burgess, graduating with high honors. Kristen Alice Burgess, graduating with high honors. Lily Dawn Burke, graduating with high honors. Andrew Oswald Belisario Burnham, graduating with honors. Olivia Faith Carlson, graduating with high honors. Alexander Jinyoung Choi, graduating with honors. Aaliyah Adana Clark, graduating with high honors. Saul Cortez. Abigail Hope Davis, graduating with high honors. Sergio de la Cruz, graduating with honors. Brandon Abade de Sosa, graduating with honors. Taylor Riley Einhelle, graduating with high honors. Isabella Marie Alonso Eklund, graduating with honors. Rafael Antony Encarnacion III. Rachel Michelle Falkenhagen, graduating with honors. Samuel James Finelli, graduating with honors. Kobe Jeff Feeblecorn. Sarah Ann Fisher, graduating with high honors. Jared Lee Freeman, graduating with high honors. Nicholas Samir Galindo, graduating with honors. Alera Sofia Gonzalez, graduating with high honors. Carlos Alberto Hernandez, graduating with honors. Alan Evan Hyde. Namie Imiyuki, graduating with high honors. Natalie Jane Jeffers, graduating with honors. Nagati Kabia, graduating with honors. Sydney Noel Lopez, graduating with high honors. Darby Elise Marshall. Elise Mastrapa, graduating with high honors. Kudzai L. Mondiwa. William Collins Mitchell, Jr., graduating with high honors. Heather Megan Morris, graduating with high honors. Peyton Allen Morrison, graduating with honors. Philip Ephraim Mura. Saxelha Helene Mura, graduating with honors. Michael Kin Nanbu. Chizarum Gift Chiamaka Naku, graduating with high honors. Allison Kirby Orms, graduating with honors. Martin William Lamar Phillips IV. Nicholas Alexander Prado. Dane Austin Rhodes, graduating with high honors. Mary Ruth Ping Ping Runyon, graduating with high honors. Mikael Fabian St. Val, graduating with honors. Tony Kayla Sargent, graduating with honors. Amy Caroline Shelley, graduating with high honors. Katie Marie Shelley, graduating with high honors. Disney Bell Smith. Jack Robert Smith, graduating with high honors. Juliet Loria Tavares Torres. Vanessa Ellen Thurman, graduating with high honors. Luana Live Torres, graduating with high honors. Jocelyn W. Walton, graduating with honors. Dylan Mitchell Waters, graduating with high honors. Corey Rush Wilkins, graduating with high honors. Caitlin Rachel Williams, graduating with high honors. Ashley Rose Louisa Wilson, graduating with high honors. Dylan Michael Wolf, graduating with high honors. Isabel Eva Woods, graduating with high honors. Yuengyu Cecilia Yang, graduating with honors. Congratulations, class of 2019.
Wow, we did it! Yay. Please bow your heads for the benediction. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for letting us all partake in the celebration of the class of 2019. Thank you so much for allowing us to be here together one last time. We ask your blessing on us as we depart this place and go our separate ways. We ask that you be with us in all that we do. I'm excited for what you have in store for us in the future. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Amen.
A lot of you probably don't know what I do at GCA, but I'm the Alumni and Development Director, which makes me your person now at GCA. I mean, you love all of us, but we're just so thrilled that you are now alumni of Georgia-Cumberland Academy. You are joining the esteemed ranks of almost 3,000 others who have graduated before you. And these people live and serve all over the world, and they're amazing people. So I hope that every year, or every year that you can, or at least every 5 years when you have an honor class year, you will come back and join us for Alumni Weekend. You'll be hearing from Mrs. Zeiss and from me through the years, so please let us know what's going on in your lives. Let us know when you move so we can keep track of you and not lose you. I know these first few years you'll be busy doing things and going to school, and we may not always know where you are, but you'll be receiving your alumni newsletter from us 4 times a year, and there'll be alumni events that we'll want to invite you to. So please stay in touch. We want to share your joys. We want to share your successes. We want to reach out to you if you need encouragement through the years. So we're your people, Mrs. Zeiss and me, and we are looking forward to seeing how you go into the future as the other alumni have before you. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to present to you the newest alums of Georgia-Cumberland Academy. And I would like to ask them to stand, remain standing, please. Seniors, stand, or alumni, please stand. And ladies and gentlemen, I would like to ask the senior class of 2020 to please stand. Thank you very much. While they are exiting, let me make one quick announcement. We are having a reception afterwards. You can get some food in the cafeteria, but I encourage you to go outside, ladies and gentlemen, because outside there will be a special surprise fireworks presented this evening by an anonymous donor in honor of the class of 2019 and Mr. Wally Fox. So you'll want to go on outside as soon as you get your food and enjoy the fireworks. Thank you.